Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, every morning I kind of try to figure out how I'm gonna explain a video to you guys, what I'm gonna talk about. And I think I'm gonna start off this video by saying I am not now, nor have I really ever been a Richard Simmons fan or a Pauly Shore fan. The reason I'm saying that is Pauly Shore is doing a movie. It's been a big story in the news on TMZ and stuff like that about Pauly Shore wanting to, if you remember Pauly Shore, the Wheeze from the 90s, I guess. And he's doing he's doing a movie. He's making a video where he plays Richard Simmons, like a biography of Richard Simmons' life. And I've never been a Richard Simmons fan either. Richard Simmons, most of you, if you watch my channel, you're probably around my age, you remember Richard Simmons. He's kind of, I guess I would use the word silly, flighty, floaty kind of guy with kind of chubby, frizzy hair, loose tank top, silk shorts, fitness guy. I'm sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. I'm not saying I don't like him or anything. I've never been a fan of his, but he's been in the news lately, and he made the news yesterday because of he has on TMZ on all these articles they called it a social media post, and when they do that, I don't know why, but it's usually Facebook. They never name Facebook. They'll say Twitter, they'll say a tweet, when it's or Instagram. But when it's Facebook, it's because I think it's because, I don't know, maybe they think Facebook is so uncool that they just call it a social media platform. Because I want to go back and find where this story came from. The links will be right down below. This was on Richard Simmons' Facebook profile, was his page, Richard Simmons' Facebook page. And there was a big hubbub yesterday. People were worried that Richard Simmons had passed away, that he was no longer with us. And I'm going to read you, he has two posts. And like I said, links, his actual Facebook posts will be right down below so you can read them yourselves. But I'm going to read them to you. And like I said, I've never been a fan of Richard Simmons. But his post, just yesterday, I was thinking of doing a recovery video. And I actually did a video where I was doing I was in the middle of my workout and I started taping. I taped it. And I haven't downloaded it yet because I don't have a shirt on. And it's not because I'm self-conscious, it's because I don't want to look like I'm showing off or, trying to show my chest or anything like that. I don't want to come across like that, so I've been hesitant to download it. It was just me, and I'm talking about my workout and how it's part of my recovery. And as I was reading Richard Simmons, I'll read it to you guys. And as I was reading this, I realized that it's almost exactly like him talking about how to enjoy life. And it's almost like the 5 pillars of sobriety. And I'll talk about that too shortly. The 5 pillars of sobriety, I always get asked about how I've achieved 17 and a half years of sobriety from heroin and crack cocaine. And there's no easy answer. It was a lot of work. It was rebuilding myself from the ground up, and it's maintaining that today. And it takes a long time. There's no quick fix. There's no quick answer. And for an addict who's used to getting instant gratification, that's something they don't want to hear. And as I was going to talk about the 5 pillars of sobriety today, just the word 5 pillars, and I remember being an addict. I still remember my mentality. And as soon as I would hear, as soon as I hear 5 pillars, give me 5 pills, not 5 pillars. You know what I mean? I wanted instant gratification. But I'm going to read that. As I was reading Richard Simmons' post on Facebook, I realized that what he suggests, how he suggests to enjoy life, really is the 5 pillars of sobriety. You'll see what I'm saying in a second. And just stick with me here. I'm happy. I always, I'm not rich. I'm single right now. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm all by myself. I'm not wealthy by any means, but I am happy. Every day I go on a walk. I exercise. I'm kind of obsessive with exercise, and that's kind of what I made the video about yesterday. And when I start off my walk every day, I go for a 3.5 mile walk around town, and then I come back and I do 4.25 miles on the treadmill. So I walk a total of over 7 miles every single day. Rain, sleet, or snow, Christmas, Easter, doesn't matter. Every single day I walk 7 miles. Then I ride 10 miles on my bicycle. And then before that, I do an hour of weightlifting or sit-ups or pull-ups every single day. It's a little obsessive. And before that, I do this YouTube video. And after all this, I paint. I do my artwork and how I make my living, more or less. And I read and watch movies, and you'll see what I'm saying in a second. But when I go out on my walk every single morning, I know this sounds corny, but stick with me. Whether it's a cold, freezing morning or it's raining or whatever, I go for the 3-mile walk outside, and it's dark out, usually about 5:30 in the morning. And I usually look up at the sky, and you see the stars or the clouds or the rain or the snow or whatever. And I'm like, I thank God for another, I say, thank you, God, for another beautiful day on this earth. And I wasn't always like that, but I did a painting at the methadone clinic that I used to go to. I did a mural because they found out I was an artist, and they asked me to do a mural on the wall, and I want to use that for my thumbnail. And on that mural, I won't describe what I painted, but I put a little quote at the bottom. Every day is not a gift. Every day is not a given. It's a gift. And that's the truth. One day, sooner or later, it's going to be your last day. One of these days is going to be your last. You have a limited amount of days left on this earth. Every single person watching this, so be thankful for every single day on this earth, no matter how happy or sad or whatever you are. Really, you have a limited amount of time. Tell the people that you love, tell them you love them. Breathe in, smell the flowers, man, look at the sky, look at the stars, look at a tree. Seriously, it sounds corny, but, I think it's because I came close to losing my life, and I realized how precious these days really are. I know this all sounds corny. All right, I'm going to read to you Richard Simmons' posts on Facebook and why there was this scare yesterday that people thought that he had passed. Okay, I'll read you the original. There's 2 posts. I'll read you the original one, when people got worried about this. I have my tablet here. Just give me a second. Okay, here's what he wrote. I have some news to tell you. Please don't be sad. I am ... dying. Oh, I can see your faces now. The truth is we all are dying. Every day we live, we are getting closer to our death. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to enjoy your life to the fullest every single day. Get up in the morning and look at the sky. Count your blessings and enjoy. That's something that I seriously said before I even read this, looking at the sky. And, when I read this, I was like, wow, this is my sobriety program, is what he's saying here. Start with a healthy breakfast. Do you like oatmeal, whole wheat toast, eggs once or twice a week, fresh fruit or half an English muffin? Then there's lunch. How about a nice salad? Don't eat your dinner too late. Combine your protein and your starch and a few vegetables. And sure, once in a while have dessert. I have dessert every day, and quite a bit of it. That's one of my faults. One healthy day of eating will lead to the next and the next. And that's the truth. One day of sobriety will lead to the next. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. I have a lot of workout videos on YouTube that you can use, or maybe you can use some of the videos at home. And before you go to bed, do a little stretching. Stretch your neck, your shoulders, and your arms. Don't forget your legs. Do some circles with your ankles. Point and flex your feet. I promise that you will have a better night's sleep. There is something else important that you must do. Tell the ones that you love them. When I read this, I was like, wow, this is my sobriety plan, the way I live my life these days. A big hug really goes a long way. Like yesterday when I talked about, spending a little time and listening to somebody that I wouldn't usually listen to. It's little things like that. They don't just change the other person's life. They change your life too. When you go out of your way, I know it sounds corny, but when you go out of your way to give somebody a little bit of your time, it's not just for them. It's for you too. If you have time, I want you to listen to a terrific song. It is Tim McGraw. It is called Live Like You Were Dying. Live today and don't forget to pray. Love, Richard. Okay, this is the post that he posted that, like at the beginning, he said, I have news to tell you. I am dying. And that's what I just said. I say it a little differently. You one of these days is going to be your last day. Not just, I see these movies where people are struggling to survive. There's an apocalypse, there's a war, and they're scratching and they're crawling and they're doing all these crazy things and they're shot. And, and I'm like, we're all going to pass sooner or later. Is dying all that bad? We're all going to have to face it. You see these ridiculous movies where people are doing, this through the whole movie. They're struggling to, I know it's everybody wants to live, but we're all going to die. Okay. So this is the second post by Richard Simmons. Sorry, many of you have gotten upset about my message today. Even the press has gotten in touch with me. I am not dying. It was a message about saying how we should embrace every day that we have. Sorry for this confusion. Okay, so those are Richard's posts. I want to read you quickly. Let me see the time. I'm running along on time already. The 5 pillars. Like when I read this, I was like, it's close to the 5 pillars of sobriety. Here's the 5 pillars of sobriety. 1, and I'll link for this down below too, the 5 pillars of sobriety. And it has nothing to do with Richard Simmons. It's about, being clean and sober. 1, physical well-being. Taking care of yourself is essential for restoring your health to create a stable foundation for recovery. Physical exercise. Number 2, emotional and mental well-being. Recovery involves addressing emotional and mental health issues. I'll just leave the links down below. I don't want to bore you reading everything. Number 3, social well-being. Telling people you love them. Building and maintaining healthy relationships inside and outside a treatment program is the key aspect of recovery. Number 4, spiritual well-being. Like with me saying every day, thank you, God, for, it doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have, like they told us in recovery, they told us in AA, your higher power could be a coffee cup. Whatever you want your higher power to be is what it is. It doesn't have to be God. In other words, it could be, they actually said to me a coffee cup. It sounds kind of corny when I hear myself saying it. Number 4, spiritual well-being. The pillar of recovery is about finding and meaning a purpose in life beyond substance use. It is not necessarily tied into religious beliefs, but involves exploring one's values. Number 5, personal responsibility. Taking ownership of personal actions and decisions is vital to recovery. Like I said, links for this will all be down below. I don't want to bore you guys. But, as I read, first actually, I read the 5 pillars of sobriety. I was going to do a recovery video about using green pot and how it affected my life, how it all started, how it affected my jobs, how I got fired from jobs, and looking back, how much it screwed up my life. And I came across these 5 pillars of sobriety yesterday. Then this morning, I read the Richard Simmons story and his Facebook post and his suggestions, and the 2 of them looked almost identical. It was one of the, so that's how I got the idea for this video. I was like, oh my God, I saw it. Sometimes it's almost like it's fate. It's like, the universe telling me this is what I need to talk about today. I found that the 5 pillars of sobriety yesterday, and then I found the Richard Simmons thing today, and the 2 of them were almost identical. And it was almost what I was going to talk about anyway, what I was planning on talking about even before I saw any of this. Like I said, it's the universe telling me this is what I need to talk about. I hope it gets views. I hope it makes sense to you. Tell us next time you see your mom, your sister, your wife, your husband, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, your stepkids, tell them you love them. I love you. Say it, man. Just say it. I started saying that to my mother a couple of years ago. And I say it to her all the time now. Whenever I hang up the phone, I love you. I love you. She always says, I love you too, Daryl. And whenever I text her, I say, love you, and I just got in the habit of doing that like 5 years ago. And it's important to me now. I'm so glad it's made my life better by saying that, by expressing that. It was hard to say at first. Appreciate each day. Exercise. Have a full life. You know, I don't want to get boring. The links will be down below. Recovery is possible, man. God bless Richard Simmons, wherever he is. You guys, I'll be back later with another video. Have a good Tuesday.